Hello there. Hi. Selamat malam. Good evening. My name is JD from Studio 2105. You are watching MixStream episode 30, right? Tonight is going to be a very, very special episode, right? This is the episode ke-30 dah ni. So, I can't believe it, man. Right? It's been... I try to do this episode mixed live streams kurang-kurangnya 2 kali sebulan. So this means I've been doing this dah lebih kurang setahun lebih. Because 2 episodes a month. So for 15 months, 1 year and 3 months lah. So thank you so much, right? So let's see. First of all, I want to welcome all of the new viewers. Terima kasih, right? Selamat datang kepada all the new viewers to this channel. If you are new right here, thank you so much for joining this live stream. Okay, I minta maaf dulu. I akan cuba campur-campur sikit, alright, with English and with BM. But some of these technical punya terms yang berkaitan kepada mixing, right, things like effects, panning, semua tu memang kena explain in bahasa English lah, right? So minta maaf dulu kalau, right, I punya percakapan, I punya sebutan mungkin tersasul, tersilap sikit lah, okay? Minta maaf terlebih dahulu ya. So there's so much going on in the chat right now. The chat is blowing up. I memang tak boleh, right? I can't focus 100% lah on that chat. So minta maaf dulu, right? Right, while I'm mixing, I may not be able to see what's going in the chat. But hey, we are also joined by, if I'm not mistaken, Wan is in the chat. 1 ada dekat dalam chat. So everybody say hi to Wan, okay? Wan, of course, is the drummer for 6 Sense. And seperti mana you all tahu, obviously, lagu yang I akan feature dalam live stream, MixStream malam ni adalah lagu baru daripada band 6 Sense, right? So, I rasa peminat-peminat, right, and fans 6 Sense ni memang dah lama tunggu, right? Lama, tak berdebar-debar, tak sabar tunggu, right? 6 Sense untuk release material baru. And this is one of the songs that's been coming out from their album. So, ni akan album mereka yang akan keluar tak lama lagi, okay? Alright, so right, I had the privilege, okay? I had the privilege of recording and also mixing their this new album. And right, earlier of those, siapa yang ada the earlier part of the live chat just now will know lah, I dah cerita sikit lah tentang proses recording and process mixing ni. So I'm not going to talk so much about the release or anything, but what I can tell you is that, right, this is actually going to be the very last song to finish. Lagu lain dah siap dah, okay? Right, so tunggu je lah, right? Sabar dulu, follow and just keep updated with 6 Sense punya social media. Mereka tentu akan update you guys out there when the single and when the album is out lah. Right, so first of all, alright, I nak minta jasa baik, alright, all the viewers yang baru, especially all you 6 Sense punya fans, kalau boleh, right, tolong klik and jadi subscribe kepada channel saya. Channel Studio 2105 Direct Access MixStream ni bertujuan untuk ada tujuannya, mission ni, objektif dia ada 2. Firstly, it is mainly a audio and a music education channel. So, I banyak buat konten-konten, bukan saja live stream, MixStream ni pada setiap malam Jumaat, but I also do things such as interviews, tutorial videos dan juga song breakdown yang I buat analisis terhadap lagu-lagu yang pernah, right, yang lagu-lagu terutamanya lagu independent lah, right? Lagu daripada artis-artis yang independent. So kita buat breakdown tentang lagu tu and lots of other content, okay? So if you can, please do tolong like, tolong share dan tolong subscribe pada channel saya, yeah? Okay, right, so jom, tanpa membazir masa, without wasting any time, why don't we start? Let's start with the mixing process. Now, one thing I want to give a bit of backstory ni, okay, is that like I said, this is actually the last song in the whole album, right? Mereka ada total jumlah 8 lagu. 7 lagu tu kita dah siap dah, right? Okay. Ni yang lagu yang last kali lah yang I nak showcase and yang I nak feature on the on this live stream right now. So one of the things is that that because of the process of mixing, banyak I pernah explain, right? So when you are working with the whole album, kita nak bagi the entire album, right? Setiap lagu tu ada tone, ada karakteristik, dia punya mix dia kena consistent. Kita tak nak lah kalau dalam satu album, satu lagu bunyi dia lain, dan tiba-tiba the second song dia punya frequency bass and then treble mid range semua lain. Kita nak dia even, dia nak consistent, so it sounds like it belongs together, right? Dia gel together sebagai satu album lah, right? Kalau tak, nanti bila you dengar semua lagu tu macam bunyi tone Adi lain lah, lagu ni kenapa suara Adi bunyi macam ni, lagu ni kenapa suara Adi tone lain. Kita nak bagi sound yang consistent throughout the whole album. So disebabkan tu, right, I actually a lot of these a lot of the settings on all the individual channels dah ada presetnya lah, right. Benda ni juga menjimatkan masa. So sebab kalau kita mix 10 lagu lah katanya, kita tak nak lah, setiap kali nak mix satu lagu, kena cari setting. So kalau kita dah dapat setting, contohnya untuk tone bass for example, ataupun vocal, right, untuk lead vocal Adi punya tone, right, EQ dia macam mana, dia punya conversion macam mana, kita pakai balik setting tu, tak payah nak setting balik semua sekali lah. So this is one of the things, workflow kita work dengan efficient lah, okay. You tak payah nak ulang kerja. We don't have to repeat the work unnecessarily, okay? So, first thing in the mix, bila recording dah siap, saya sebagai mixing engineer ni, benda yang pertama sebelum I start usik, start to adjust ni lah, adjust benda ni lah, EQ ni, yang pentingnya kita kena dengar the entire lagu dulu. We have to put together a rough mix first, okay? And so this is what I'm gonna do. Right? If you watch my other live streams, you already know lah. So, let's start, okay? So, let me just showcase. We have drums, okay? Benda ni, these are all the drum tracks. We have 2 bass tracks yang record dengan DI, right? Dan satu ada pakai pedal yang ada effects. Ada acoustic guitar, rhythm guitar, and then lagu ni special sikit, dia ada feature harmonica. Right, later kita dengar lah, and then there's the vocals. So kita dengar dulu a rough mix of the song. Benda ni, this is now rough. Dia cuma balance, dia panning sikit, dia tak ada EQ, tak ada effects, tak ada apa-apa langsung, okay? Right, ni benda yang ni rough mix yang belum mix lagi. So let's dengar, and then I also go to the chat lah, okay? So, penting, we sit to the rough mix sebab kita nak dengar, I nak dengar dia punya structure lagu macam mana, instrumen mana masuk, part mana solo, part mana verse, part mana chorus. So, I tahu part ni, okay, kena feature ni lah, part ni, I kena feature instrumen ni. Right, let's start. This is the rough mix to Flowers by 6 Sense. Okay, I'm going to go through all the chat. There's so much going on in the chat, okay? So, itu intro. Kita ada intro dengan harmonica. Right, so the drums, bass line, okay? Electric guitar yang akan main rhythm. Very simple, right? This song is very simple, very straightforward. And then masuk verse. Interlude, second intro. Hidup tak seperti yang kita tahu. I can see Glam Doll. Kata Ayoy ada bass yang sumbang. Hello Ayoy. Chorus. Solo. Also got the bridge. Ada harmony sikit dia. There's some BVs here. Last chorus. Repeat chorus. Ada attack dekat sini. Okay. Alright, awesome man. So, before we start the mixing ni, I memang nak focus and highlight proses, production and pembikinan lagu ni. Dia semua peringkat, every stage is important. It is not to say that dalam stage mixing lah, right, the final product akan jadi sedap. Tak. Everything has to start from the source. Dia kena start daripada dia punya sumbernya, the original source lah. Source S-O-U-R-S-E sumber, not sauce right. Not sauce kicap, okay? Right. So, I have to say that firstly, of course, lagu, the arrangement is really top notch. And benda ni you can also later on when you listen as you mix, you boleh analyse dan belajar banyak benda just by looking at how the song arrangement is done. Right, in terms of cara bagaimana dynamics band, right, dynamics dalam lagu ni, the arrangement dia, susunan lagu tu, right, dibuat lah, okay. So tadi kita dah dengar the rough mix, so that is just rough mix only. There is nothing going on in terms of EQ. Everything is flat. I mean, not to say nothing lah, ada sikit-sikit lah, but I'll show you later. So let's start with, alright, the very first thing. Lepas kita dah dengar rough mix tu, kita dah tahu what is the structure of the song. Biasanya kita start dengan building up the rhythm section lah, okay? So I'll go very quickly, okay? I know you got a lot of Sixth Sense punya fans. I don't want to go too deep into benda-benda yang technical sangat lah. Because if I have an audience who is more towards the audio engineer, music producer punya side, then okay, we go geek out a little bit and then we talk about, all the technical punya stuff. Tapi, right, for all the fans punya sake, alright, let's not do something super technical lah. So, okay, so kita start dengan drum dulu. Actually, ada cerita sikit. I actually first time kenal Sixth Sense ni, kalau tak silap, tahun 2003, 2004, around 2005, around that time. That time, right, masa tu, in Pop Shavit tu, kita tengah record album kedua kita. So, yang studio yang I kerja dulu, namanya studio Synchro Sound dekat PJ. Right, malangnya sekarang studio tu dah tak ada lah. And that was where Sixth Sense was recording their very first album. Because they were also, right, producer untuk Sixth Sense masa tu. Nama beliau Greg Henderson. Right. Dia juga menjadi producer kepada band saya, Pop Shavit, pada time tu. Right. So, that is where the very first time I jumpa I jumpa the members of the band lah, okay. Ni dah lama dulu. 2004, 2005, 16 tahun That's long time ago. So ada banyak cerita lah, okay. Especially one pun ada cerita pengalaman dia, right, masa recording dengan Greg Henderson lah. Ada banyak cerita dia, right. But okay, so these are the drums yang kita record dekat sini. And right, so what we have kick, we have 3 mics on the snare. We have a snare A, snare B. Snare A ni pakai dynamic mic, snare B condenser, snare bottom, hi-hat, 3 tom, alright, 1 pair, there's an overhead mics, right, overhead mics, dan juga ada room microphone. Okay, one of the things that yang I ada buat, okay, is I actually did some resampling masa sebelum masa during the post production lah. So you boleh nampak dekat sini ada some of these tracks here. Kick, pearl, snare, her, these 2 tracks. These are actually buat resampling pakai trigger, right? But cerita dia macam ni, right? The band actually wants to go for a sound yang lebih kepada sound yang lagi lebih raw, sound yang lebih independent. Okay, right. Benda tu, I think when the album comes out, you akan faham lah. And I really enjoy, right, the new sound of Sixth Sense ni, because the energy of the other songs is like awesome. Kalau you rasa lagu ni energetic and lagu yang rancak, you belum dengar lagu lain, right? You haven't heard the rest of the songs. I have, okay. So tapi you right, when the album comes out, you all will know lah, okay. So we decided to go for a more raw approach. So it ends up that I actually tak akan guna. I'm not going to use actually all these snare samples, even though I spend the time doing it lah. But it's okay, right? So what I'm going to do is, firstly, I akan mute the tracks, but kita tak pakai lah, right? So I tak pakai. So let's start. First of all, kita check out the kick drum, okay? Now, as I said earlier, kebanyakan ni, a lot of this I already started with presets, and sebab kita nak dapatkan sound yang consistent. So it's very, very easy. Alright, let's start with the kick drum. I'm going to show you what I did on the mix for Sixth Sense, okay? And the truth is, sebenarnya kalau band yang ada lagu dengan arrangement yang baik, dengan yang elok, kalau dimainkan oleh musician yang baik, yang konsisten, performance yang mantap, sound pula kita capture dengan elok, time masa mixing ni sebenarnya tak perlu buat banyak. Sebab memang sound original, the raw sound itself, dah tune is really sounding so good that there's really not much to process lah, atau EQ, okay. So for the more technical folks, they might find this a little bit a bit disappointing. Oh no, JD, you're not showing us all the compression lah, EQ lah, all these parallel techniques and all that. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but because of how good, right, in this case, like of one's drumming, right, the guitar, the bass parts, of Adi's vocals especially, I'll show you, kita sampai vocal, kita akan buat vocal later, you'll know what I mean lah, right? How good it is, there's so little that I need to do. Let's start with the kick drum first, okay? So with the kick drum, let me just show you, right? Excuse me, right? So all I did on the kick drum is just a boost at about 5K. That's about 5.2K. It's quite a heavy boost lah, right? That's about 12K, right? I might bring this down later because this is not a very heavy song. But that's just it. This boost here dekat 5K ni, this is to help to bring the beater out. So let's just solo kick drum. This is raw without any EQ, no compression. That's how consistent one is as a drummer lah, right? So one selain daripada for Sixth Sense, one juga banyak session untuk banyak-banyak different artists and for other bands also. So I have a lot of experience, right, recording with one lah. So let's turn on the EQ so you can dengar. Right, so this beater, just to give it a bit more attack lah, okay? Right. Okay, let's move on. Let's bring in the snare drum. And again, to be honest, to be frank, really there's nothing much that needs to be done, man. Sound ni dah memang dah sedap, right? Sebelum kita buat recording ni, drum skin semua kita tukar baru. Tuning kita make sure that we tune really, really nicely, right? One took care of his tuning, one yang tune sendiri the drum kit. And then That's all, right? So everything was already sounding good before I even started to do anything, right? So let's listen to the snare drum. Okay, so this is the dynamic. Okay, very simple, right? This is a dynamic microphone. This is the condenser. Okay, you can hear the condenser is a little bit more bright. It's got a bit more top end to it. This is the characteristic lah. So I pakai dua microphone on the snare top, a dynamic mic and a condenser microphone. Dan lagi satu, this is the snare bottom. Okay, so dia ada lagi satu mic pasang dekat bawah snare. Okay, this is also a dynamic microphone. So total jumlah mic yang guna on the snare drum 3, right? 2 mic dekat atas, 1 mic dekat bawah. Then you blend it together, okay, and then you get the sound. Snare bottom ni mungkin you tanya, why do we need a mic dekat bawah? Why do you need a microphone at the bottom? This is to capture the rattle, right? Snare drum dekat bawah dia ada the rattle, the snare wire. Benda ni lah yang contribute to the sound of a snare drum lah. Kalau tak ada the snare wire ni, benda ni bunyi macam, you know, macam tong lah. It just sounds like a tong ni, okay? Right? So let's listen to the snare drum again in total, all 3. Actually, you can hear one punya suara, right? Through the microphone. So that's it. Right? Even all the ghost notes, everything super consistent, man. No compression, no EQ. That's it, right? Okay, let's go with hi-hat. Okay, so hi-hat ni actually is more towards on this section. Let's check it out. Actually, more right symbol here. There we go. So hi-hat ni masuk dekat during the verses lah. So what I do is just a high pass filter at about 540 Hz. This is just to roll off all the low frequency. Because for hi-hat you tak perlu lah all the lows, right? Okay, you just need the high saja. Okay, super simple. Okay, now after kick, snare and hi-hat, I akan skip all the toms dulu. I will jump straight to overheads. Okay, overheads, right? Nama overhead tu, right, over the head lah. So this is usually a pair of microphones. The overhead ni sangat penting sebenarnya, because an overhead microphone is apa yang is the mics that's going to capture the overall tone and the overall sound of the drums. Okay, so alright, the secret to getting good drum sound is to get a very good overhead sound lah. Right, so this is why I after with the kick, snare and hat, I terus skip and go towards the overhead first of all. So let me just take a look at my notes and overheads. Let's see what's going on. Alright. So solo overheads, you can dengar. So this is the sound of the overheads, right? So you boleh dengar there is a clear stereo separation. Okay, if you dengar on the headphones, you can hear lah, alright? Alright, I usually mix from a drummer's perspective, so you boleh dengar, right? So hi-hat akan sebelah kiri, you know, then the toms will be going from left to right. Okay, what's happening on the overhead? Again, no EQ. Tapi I have this here. This is the AOC's E2 Diasaskan. So Diasaskan ni, okay, sebenarnya this Diasaskan is designed to be a plugin yang akan control sibilance. Apa tu sibilance Okay, so pernah tak when you listen to vocal, when you listen to orang cakap, you know, things such as huruf-huruf yang perkataan-perkataan yang start dengan huruf macam konsonan macam huruf S. Six sense. Bunyi tu dipanggil sibilance. So kalau terlalu banyak sibilance ni, it's going to be very annoying lah. So we use that sibilance to control lah. Right? We use the Diasaskan to control this kind of sibilance. But in this case, I'm actually using it on the overheads to control a little bit of the high end, the treble, the highs that is on the cymbals. So boleh nampak, okay, part-part yang bila when it is triggered by the high end that's coming from the cymbals, it will duck, okay? So bila dengar when the cymbals crash, okay, dia akan just sikit je, just gently massage the high end, so dia tak terlalu jarring, dia tak terlalu, it's not going to be too jarring out there, okay? And not much. We are looking here 2 dB maximum, sikit saja, alright? Just a little bit, okay? So that's it. You can hear the toms over here, that section, right? I'll play again, that section yang ada toms tu. Boleh dengar, left to right. So overhead give you the overall drum sound, okay? So let's combine, let's join it in. There we go. Okay, let's go on now to the room microphone. Okay, so selain daripada overhead mic, kita juga ada room microphone. Room microphones ni we usually put this microphone jauh sikit, a little bit far from the drums, because we want to capture the overall sound of the room. Okay, let's solo it and then we listen. Okay, so we need room mics. Okay, very cool, very interesting. I think we need to bump it up to about 10 dB. boleh dengar suara bunyi one dekat sana kan? Okay, let me just... Okay, it is a little bit heavy on the left. I'm just wondering why. Okay, alright. So, sound room ni dia lain daripada overhead because you are capturing the size of the room. And overhead ni is to help to make the drum sound big, bagi sound yang besar. Okay. Okay. Okay, tune, alright. Okay, lepas tu baru let's include the toms. Okay, so let's go back to this section, the bridge section tadi. So we just check the toms lah. Right, so these are all the closed mics for the toms. Let's play it. Tung 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 tung. Okay, kick drum, right? Kick drum. Baru ada power. Right, so last thing I want to add is just the right cymbal. So let's check out the right cymbal. I solo the right cymbal dulu. So same right cymbal ni, right? Let me just high pass this. Okay, this one I didn't do a preset because some of the songs tak pakai right cymbal. So same thing, right? Right cymbal. Let's just blend it in. So but overall the right cymbal is really captured on overheads. Okay, alright. So, I'm going to set the right at that level dulu, right? The reason is, mungkin later down the line, I akan buat adjustment. Walaupun kita pakai preset, walaupun ada banyak preset ni, right? I dah make the notes for the preset. There's a saying that I always used to say, we use set and you don't forget, right? Set and don't forget. Maksudnya, when you dah buat sesuatu setting, don't forget, jangan lupa. Sometimes later on down the line, you may have to go back and adjust. Sebab, it might affect the benda yang you buat kemudian. A mixed decision that I do later down, maybe when I bring the vocal in, it's going to affect what I do earlier on. So, I'll be prepared to always go back. Don't forget what I did earlier and then go back and tweak it lah, okay? So, there you go. That's the drum mix for you, man. No compression, nothing at all, because it already sounds awesome, right? Right? One's drumming already sounds awesome. Okay, so now kita masuk pada bass pula. Okay, this is Ayu's bass. Ayu has got a awesome Ken Smith bass, which is a very, very nice bass, right? So he's got a very, very unique sound and very unique punya signature lah. So bass ni kita ada 2 track, and then you're wondering, bass kenapa ada 2 track? Bukan bass just satu je. Nah, actually in recording, you sometimes use more than 1 track to record 1 instrument lah. So the reason why we have these 2 tracks is because these are actually 2 different tones. Kita pakai 2 DI box, right? These are 2 DI tracks, but each has got a different tone. So first one that we do here, this is the bass DI. So let me show you. Kita solo the bass DI dulu. So the DI sound is more for, right, the straight up punya clean punya sound lah, the clean tone, yeah. Alright. Okay, and then yang ni, this is TH. TH ni short for tone hammer. This is actually another preamp DI pedal. Tapi yang ni sound dia, okay, is gonna be a little bit more interesting. Cause this one, what we did is we actually did we added a overdrive to it, ran it through an overdrive. Okay, so let's check it out. All right, let's solo. Let's see how it sounds with the tone hammer. So boleh dengar kan, right? It's like an overdrive, dirty sound. So the thing is, when you record with these two DI tracks, we can blend the two. You have the clean DI, you have the dirty overdrive in the DI, then you blend to according to taste lah, okay? According to whatever is suitable for the song. Okay, I want to check something very quickly. Okay, I want to check and make sure that everything is the right RMS level. So let me just do this very quickly, right? I want to check what's the RMS level here. Okay, average RMS 21.9, so 19 dB here. Okay, it is a little bit soft, so 21.9, 22. So I'll not bring this up by about 2 dB. Okay, gain structure is very, very important. But benda ni I'm not going to explain too much lah, because benda ni sangat technical, so right, I don't want to take up too much time. So yeah, so everything is about 2 dB, right? So that means this needs to be brought up overall by about 2 dB. So let me just bring this up. Okay, so if my gain structure is not right, later on my downstream processing is not going to sound right lah. Okay, so the DI track is also going to be up by 2.5 dB. So this should sound better. Now, I want to show you. You see these two DI tracks, the bass DI and the bass tone hammer, the clean and the distortion punya bass ni. Inside my DAW, I dah route into a group bus. As you can see, benda ni dua track ni dia route kepada group bus ini, right? I can show you. Okay, so it's sent to the groups for bass. So this is the bass bus lah. Okay, let me use the word group lah. If I use bus, BUSS, orang akan confuse nanti. So it makes things easy. It's about, this means all the processing for all the bass, right? I just do it inside the group. So let me just open up and show you what I have inside here. Okay, ta-da! See what the plugins that I have. So first thing in the bass I have is Wave C4. Let me just play. Let's listen to it. Okay, Wave C4 ni is a multi-band compressor. So what this is doing, okay, is that multi-band compressor, dia split the audio, right, into beberapa bands. In this case, it splits it into 4 different bands lah. Tapi I'm only using the low band, right? This one, the rest ni dia off, dia bypass. So it's only the low band. So the tujuan for this Wave C4 multiband compressor is so that we are only gently compressing the really, really low bottom end of the mix. And I'm talking about, frequencies about 180 Hz and below lah. So kita solo. Let me solo. That is 180 Hz below. We check out. So it's only controlling the bottom end lah of the song. Okay, let me just tweak around with it. I may go down a little lower. Let's see what happens. I think let's go to about 150. Yeah, okay, about 150. Okay, so you can see this compression band is only functioning here, right? 150 Hz below. Sikit je. You're not talking not more than what, 1-2 dB, right? Okay, so next thing is Surfer EQ Boogie. Okay, now let me show you what this guy does. So Surfer EQ Boogie is it's a very smart EQ, because what it does is that it can dually track the frequency in real time. So what I'm gonna do is that, okay, pay attention to, tengok ni, look at this green here, which is represents of the middle, the surf EQ band. When I play, it can follow. It's going to follow the note. Just check it out. D D D E E D D D. See, it follows and it tracks the note, right, in real time. So benda ni very powerful, very, very powerful, because not only can I, for example, right, track and boost only the frequencies of the note that's being played, I can also set it to upper harmonics, right? So in this case, what I want to do is I actually want to take out a little bit of the fifth harmonic. Fifth harmonic ni, okay, without going to technical lah, right? It can makes the note sound a little bit clashy, a little bit. So I'm trying to avoid it. I play it for you, then you know what I mean lah, okay? Right, you can tahu apa maksud I. So let's boost this. I boost dulu so you can hear what it sounds like. So frequency tu kita tak nak tau. We don't want that note in the bass. So right, kita kenal pasti upper frequency tu. Then okay, let's just do a gentle about 2 dB lah. Okay, this is 1.9, 2 dB, small tiny difference. Okay, so this will help to clear out that fifth harmonic, that space over there. Okay, apa lagi? Right, next thing. The next thing I have is the UAD 1176. This is a compressor. The blue stripe version is called the revision A. So I love this compressor, man. So what this is going to be doing is that the attack is fairly slow and release is fairly fast, okay? So this is going to even out the bass tone. Bila kita record dulu, actually when we record the time, there's also a little bit of compressor already. I don't know whether you guys can see down here, right? I also have the actual hardware 1176 down here. So during recording, we already recorded with some compression. So in the mix, we don't need to do much, okay? Now I have a few other things, but like Bass Rider MV2, I did not use this at all, right? In the 6-inch mix because we don't really need it. Okay. Now, here's the cool thing. Okay, let me show you what I have. Now, because we wanted to give a little bit more character to the bass, kita nak bagi bass tone to ada character lebih sikit, we actually ran this through. I actually ran this through. This is a VST amp. This is an amp simulation of the Ampac the SVT VR, the classic. Right? This is the classic tube. I don't know whether you pernah tengok lah, right? If in real life, this amp ni is like, we call it the fridge, we call it the peti sejuk because dia is a 8x10 cabinet and then besar, and it's besar gila babi lah, right? This amp. So this is actually a model. This is an official model of the Ampac amp. So we ran this bass. So seolah-olah kita ambil bass tu and then kita run it through the Ampac amp, man. It's a 8x10 cabinet. So this is how it sounds without. Okay, solo dulu. Sound dia is okay, right? But macam tak cukup bottom lah, alright? So when we activate it, suddenly becomes a little bit more bigger, fatter, see? Yeah. Okay, so in combination, let's check out drums and bass. Alright, what's next? Terusnya, okay, kita always build the rhythm section up dulu. So drums, bass, that's followed by acoustic guitar. Okay, so this song is again a little bit different from the rest because I think the rest of the songs use a lot of electric guitar. This song has the acoustic as the foundation lah, right? The rhythmic foundation. And what's going on in here? Now, once again, gitar apa yang kita pakai? I rasa gini gitar Adi kan, is a Taylor if I'm not mistaken. So again, source is very very good. You need to get a good sounding guitar, right? With good fresh strings, well tuned, and then it had to be played evenly and very well. I kena emphasize sangat-sangat lah. Recording ni, during the recording stage, is very very important. Sebab kadang-kadang for a lot of band indies, you know, maybe independent artists, and then unfortunately now time PKP and lockdown ni ramai kena record daripada rumah. So sometimes the attitude is that, oh tak apalah, masa mixing nanti boleh fix lah, boleh repair lah. Okay, ini sebenarnya right pemikiran mindset yang salah lah, right? We have to, dia memang a big factor yang amat besar kepada, right, amat penting kepada, that's going to contribute to the end result, the end product, is the source. Again, you kena get a good sounding instrument played with a good player, dynamics kena even, timing semua kena betul, right, and obviously feel pun kena ada. Dia tak boleh bergantung kepada engineer atau mixing engineer untuk fix benda macam tu. Kalau recording, kalau dia punya playing dah tak sedap, apa yang kita boleh buat? What can I do? Right? We can just hide it, okay? So again, nothing much happening, man. So high pass filter at about 150 hertz. This is to roll off all the low end, and at about 440 hertz ni, there is a dip about 4.3 dB lah, okay? Right, this is just to cut out a little bit of the lower mids from the acoustic. So kita dengar, let's check out what's happening in the acoustic. Okay, alright, there is some stuff happening here. So let's see what we have. This is just an LA2A. I'll show you what's going on. Okay, jom kita play the acoustic. Oh, I think Harry yang main the acoustic guitar for this, right? Yeah. I saw a question there, Huzaili. Okay, acoustic guitar better record guna mic. Oh, definitely. Always mic up acoustic guitar, man. Is definitely better, right? I saw a question in the chat there from Huzaili. Of course, man. Using a mic is better. If you use a pickup, use a DI, it is not natural at all. It is not natural at all. It is when you use a piezo or any contact pickup, nobody listens to a guitar. Nobody, tak ada orang dengar gitar tu by placing your ears on the body of the guitar, right? Right. We always listen to how a guitar sounds, especially if you are the listener, from a little bit distant away. So using a mic is always going to be more natural lah. This is just using one mic. I think this was using a Lewitt 440 with a little bit of compression. Once again, it's going to the 1176. Not much, I think maybe 3 or 4 dB, right? Of a very light compression. But again, it's just even, right? It's just evenly. So, okay. This again, sama juga dengan bass and all the other instruments. This is also routed to a group, acoustic guitar punya group. So ada sikit treatment dekat sini lah, right? So I can't remember why do I have these plugins here, but I think in the end tak pakai kot. This is the AMAC EQ. I think I didn't use it. Let me just turn it off first. There was this Yamaha reverb which I also tak pakai, right? Turn off. BX refinement tak pakai lah, right? Turn off. That's the only thing I did is I use a LA2A. So LA2A, this is a compressor, right? This is just another additional compression just to massage the acoustic guitars a little bit. So LA2A ni, this is another flavor of compressor. This is an optical compressor. So opto compressor, the characteristic is a little bit is different lah daripada tadi, right? I was using a 1176 for the bass. So for acoustic guitar, I love to use LA2As lah. So let's listen to it. Tak banyak, not much. Not even 1 dB pun, right? Okay. And that's it, And I'm happy with the placing, with the balance. I'm happy with the balance. This is still the rough mix. I didn't even touch the levels, right? From where I had it in the rough mix lah. The saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Kalau benda tu tak rosak, tak payah go and fix it lah, okay? It works. Okay, cool. Now, we have actually got some electric guitars here. We have a solo, we have a harmonica. Tapi, I'm going to skip all that. Because I'm going to jump straight to the vocal, okay? And why? Why am I jumping straight to the vocal? Okay, the reason why is because, look, in most popular music lah, right? In most modern music, contemporary punya music, vocal is the main thing for listeners, for fans, for the audience out there. Benda yang audience pick up and focus is the vocal, is the lead vocal, right? The lyrics, the melody, the chorus, the hooks. Benda yang sell, right? Yang jual, the money, the one that sells the song is the lead vocal. So that's why the lead vocal should be very, very important. It needs to be upfront. It needs to be clear. Vocal tu kena clear, kena jelas, kena right ke depan upfront. Sebab kalau tak, if it's lost in the mix, the listener is going to is going to tune out, right? Because alamak, I can't hear the vocal clearly. Then then I sort of lost the focus towards what the melody, what the lyrics are lah. And especially to pertamanya, if you're going to put this on radio, if it's for radio, if it's as a radio single, lagi penting lah, even more important. Okay, so let's dive into the vocals. And one thing with Adi's vocals is that one thing I betul-betul admire sangat dengan vocal Adi, dynamic control Adi ni is very, very smooth and very, very is very, very smooth and very even. Right? So maksudnya, right, bila time soft, Adi akan nyanyi soft. Bila loud, akan loud. And then even though time loud, right, note yang tinggi ke mana-mana, dynamics Adi ni is very well in control. Okay, you won't see that his vocals going to jump up and down a lot, and this makes my job as a mixing engineer so much easier lah. Again, with awesome drums, awesome bass, guitar, and then the vocal, it makes the mixing so easy, man. Very, very easy. You're gonna see I'm not gonna do a lot of stuff to this. And for the rest of the songs yang ada siap mix tu, there's also not a lot of stuff going on. Okay, so this was also recorded with the same mic, all right, the Lewitt 440. I do run through my I do record vocals. Vocals I will record with compression. So there is some compression going in when I record, and there's going to be some more compression later in the mix lah. So kita dive into it. Let me show you what I have. So this is the main vocal punya channel. Alright, let's see what's going on. Okay, looks like you got a couple of things happening here. Alright, so okay, let's start. Okay, this one actually let me turn off because tak perlu dah, right? Because it's already happening in here. First thing, this is TDR Nova. What is TDR Nova? TDR Nova, this is actually a dynamic EQ. So a dynamic EQ is an EQ which you can dial into very specific frequency, and dia akan EQ sama ada boost atau cut only when the signal exceed the threshold. Alright, it's very, very powerful and it's very transparent. Right, and the reason why it's powerful and transparent is because it doesn't kacau, it doesn't touch the vocal, the audio signal when it doesn't need to. So that's why it's a very, very powerful tool lah. So for engineers, anyone who is interested, you can actually download this. TDR Nova is actually available for free. Description, all that is down in the description lah. Alright, description below. Download link is down in the description below. Okay, so what is going on in here? Let me see. Actually, I'm using this only for... Let's check it out, okay? Solo. Let me turn off some of the effects dulu ya. Okay, so I'm actually just using this only for the high-pass filter. So at about 100 Hz, 12 dB per octave slope, right, which is a fairly gentle slope. Okay, and the reason why I didn't use anything is because I have another plugin that's doing a lot of the smoothing work. Okay, and the name of this plugin is called Smooth Operator by Baby Audio. Let me resize this so it's a little bit bigger for you guys to see, and maybe let me change the color scheme also bagi dia senang sikit. Is this easier? Okay, this green color I think is easier to see lah. Okay, so what does this plugin do? Okay, so what this plugin does, right, as the name is called, is to smooth out certain frequencies. So you boleh nampak ni, what I do is that there's a little curve here, right? It curves up, so it rolls off. Graphically, it kind of represents the frequency response of the audio signal, which is the vocal. So the lower end bottom here, it rolls off, right, to about 400k, then it rolls off until centered here dekat lebih kurang 3k lah, right? Let me solo this frequency for you, okay? Let's loop this verse, then I'll show you what I mean, right? So let's put it in the solo mode and check it out. This is the 3K. This is the 3K register. That sound, right? So in most vocalists, in most humans lah, kebanyakan orang punya suara, the presence peak is around 3-4K. So in normal situation, in normal speech, right, it's fine. But kadang-kadang when you get to a high note or when the vocal is a little bit more dynamic, those frequencies can jump out a little bit lah. Dia mungkin akan, a bit more harsh, a bit more catchy. So it is very, very helpful to just smoothen it out a little bit. So this is what this smooth operator is doing lah. It's also like a dynamic EQ. It's basically doing the same thing. But the percentage is very light. This one, they call this focus, right? Very smart lah. This is actually just a percentage lah, but they want to call it focus. So this is about 26% only. And then, as you can see, right? And then when we go back up 5K, 10K, right? This helps to give a bit of air as well lah. So, right, this is a very powerful plugin. I suggest you try checking it out. I'm supposed to do a tutorial on this real soon, but haven't had time lah, okay? Right, sorry. Once the tutorial is out, I will put it out on the channel lah. So that's what Smooth Operator is doing, okay? Smooth Operator. Okay, lepas tu, right, let me show you what else is going to the vocal. After the Smooth Operator, it's going to virtual tape machines. This is as if I'm running the vocal through a tape, right, analog tape, just to give it a bit more of the analog tape flavor. Then it goes to, right, virtual mix rack, and in virtual mix rack ni there are a couple of plugins. So the first one, this is called Virtual Channel. So Virtual Channel here, this is a console emulation plugin. What I'm doing this is I've set this to the SSL 4000G series, so seolah-olah as if the vocal has gone through a analog tape machine, coming out from an analog tape machine, going into the input, the channel of an SSL 4000G lah. All right. I've previously been always a fan of the USA, which is the API, but kind of recently my tastes have started to swing back towards the 4000G, and mixing, hearing, it's like taste lah. As you grow older, as you go in, as time passes by, your taste will always change. So so I've moved on towards that. So next thing up here in the move, this is the Hollywood Virtual Tube Collection. This is called Hollywood, right? So this is actually emulating the tube preamp section, right? So what this is going to do is this is actually adding a little bit of saturation lah. Okay. So again, with vocals, right, we want to just give it a little bit more character, because vocal, you see with the drums, tak banyak processing. Bass, okay, a little bit more processing. Acoustic guitar, very little processing. But vocal, you need to really, really give it the VIP punya treatment lah. So, right, this is because it's the most important element in the song, the vocal. So you gotta give it a bit of VIP treatment, man. So, right, after the Virtual Tube Collection, this is going into the FG Stress. This is a model of the Empirical Labs Distressor. Okay, it is a very, very popular hardware compressor unit. Tapi this is, of course, right, the digital emulation of it lah. But what I've run this through is I've actually gonna do a parallel compression. Okay, you might be asking, what is parallel? Parallel means selari. Okay, means that you have one path, one line which is going this way, and you have one more which is parallel to it. So you have two identical signals, One is the unprocessed, the uncompressed signal, and another parallel signal here. We are going to we are going to compress and maybe limit it, and then blend the two. So parallel compression is very, very powerful because it is very, very transparent. It can add power, it can add density, it can add character to a sound without changing too much of the dynamics. And that's the goal here, right? I don't want to super limit the vocal until it's like super squash, but yet I still want to add some character. I want to add some power to it. So, right, parallel compression and any kind of parallel processing is very, very powerful. So let's check it out, okay? Let's check out same. Let's go on that verse. Let's see what's going. So you can see we are getting sometimes 10 dB, 12, sometimes even peaks of 14 dB of gain reduction. Let's bypass. It's good, but with the parallel, it just adds a little bit of. With the parallel, it's like it adds a little bit of oomph lah. Yeah, okay. Now, usually biasanya I sometimes will start about 50%, but I have dialed, right, for Adi, in Adi's case, down to about 30% lah. Again, because with Adi ni, his dynamics and his control very smooth, very even, so don't have to apply too much. Just 30% of this parallel, okay? I have also added, right, there's feature here. You can actually add certain harmonics to it. There is a distortion too, right? You can also go without, so it doesn't add additional harmonics on top. It functions like a little bit of a harmonic you can add a bit of harmonic excitement to it lah. So let's go with distortion 2 and see. Let's go without. It kind of smoothens it out slightly. It adds a bit of harmonics and slightly smoothens the top end to me. But let's go with distortion 3 because this is what I've set, right? So distortion 3, I can't remember. It's a higher order of distortion lah. But let's. Yeah. The difference is very, very subtle, but what I felt is that, okay, without the distortion circuitry engaged, without the distortion, the high end was a little too, how to say, it's a little bit too much, but with distortion 2, it's like too little, right? It makes it a bit dark, right? You know, it sounded a little bit dark to me. Yes, I did get the distortion, the harmonics that's making the mid-range richer, but then it kind of made the top end a little bit darker. So that's why I went for distortion 3 instead, because it's a good balance, right? So it helps to tone down the high circuit, but it also still, right, enhances some of the mid-range harmonics. So that's what I went for. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, right, for the fans who are watching me, I know I'm losing some of you already, okay, because I'm going to the technical stuff. Alright, okay, that's normal, that's perfectly normal. Only the audio geeks and the engineers will usually stick around until the end. Next thing I have is sibilance, right? It's very simple. This is just a de-esser at the start and nothing much, just a little bit. See, it's only coming in only on the S's, right? This is just kicking in on all the consonants lah. S, the T, the K, right? All the high frequency energy. It helps to massage and to control it lah, to kawal all the high frequency energy. Okay. Now I have another compressor right here. This is the Waves RCom, the Renaissance compressor. So what this is doing, okay, let me just show you, okay? This is just it's just there to catch the peaks. So let's just see what it's doing, okay? Okay, probably let's jump over to the chorus lah. Somewhere is louder. My flower, janganlah kau layu It's not doing much.
Di dalam senja yang sunyi denganku.
Not even 1 dB, right? Not even 1 dB of gain reduction. This is just to catch the very, very loudest peaks. And the reason why I do all this here at this stage is that because there is a second stage of processing that's coming into the vocals later on. That I can show you why lah. So all of this is to control CK a little bit, so that when I go to the further compression later on in the group, the other compressors don't have to work so hard. And somehow with digital emulations, right, with digital punya plugin, they sound better when you sort of stack them in series, so each of the compressors don't work too hard. If you force a particular plugin to work very, very hard in digital, sometimes it just doesn't sound as good. It's totally different, when I run the compressor through the hardware 1176 through the plugin, right? It is never 100% the same. So let's go. So the lead vocal is going through a lead vocal group. Let's show you what's happening in here, okay? All right, so a couple more interesting stuff. I am running it first thing. There is a Pultec EQ. Pultec, okay, so this Pultec is giving a little bit of a boost down here at about 100 Hertz. And at about 5K, all right, I go for broad. I usually go for the maximum broad bandwidth, right? Boosting at about 4 here, lah, okay? That's it, right? Pultec is a beautiful, beautiful sounding EQ. And then kita ada the same thing again, another 1176. You might be thinking, wow, you have the tape emulation, you have the parallel processing, you have the Renaissance compressor. That's like 3 compressors already. Now there's one more, 4 compressors on the vocals, okay? So what this one is doing is that what I've set it to is about a medium attack, right? The reason is usually I set it at the slowest attack, but here I felt that I needed to catch some of the transients, right, of the vocal early on, right? So that's why I set this a little higher than I do lah. Again, right? You start with you use a preset as a starting point, and then you tweak according to whatever the vocal lah. Right, release is the fastest release ratio 4.421. Okay, and what does it do? Let's check out in the chorus and see.
My flower,
yeah, and I'm really slamming. Awesome. Okay, right. I'm really pinning this, right. I'm not really using the 1176 here, not really for compression. It's actually more for the tone. Because even before we add this in, the dynamics are memang very, very well controlled already. This is being the real reason why I'm really using this. It's more for the tone. It's more for the coloration that I'm adding to it. When I'm compressing this, it is not only the levels which are being compressed out. Sometimes the harmonic spectrum is also being brought up. It brings up some of the mid range. It brings up a little bit of the upper harmonics, things which are lower level. It brings all of that up as well. So compression is not just about levels. It's not just about trying to control the dynamics. Compression can also be about playing with the tone, with the color. This is the main reason why I have the 1176 here lah. Okay, what is happening? There is another de-esser. Okay, now because sometimes we need 2 de-essers because, right, after running through all the processing, right, sometimes benda-benda like all the consonants, the transients, the sibilants, sometimes it will exaggerate lah. This is always going to be a artifact that's going to happen when you use a lot of compression, okay? So this de-esser here is just to, right, have another at the back end to control all these sibilants and the transients, right?
Hidup tak semanis.
That's it, right? Okay. Last but not least, actually no lah, not yet last. I'll show you. Vocal Rider. What is Vocal Rider, man? So Vocal Rider is another one of those intelligent plugins from Waves. So okay, I use this like a compressor, but what Vocal Rider does is not really like a compressor. Because what a compressor does is a compressor waits when the signal exceeds the threshold. Okay, sorry, minta maaf lagi. These are all the technical stuff, but if I don't cover all this technical stuff, nanti in the later down the line, the people who watch, especially engineers and the more technical geeks, people will say, why you don't explain all these kind of things. So I can explain a little bit lah. So a compressor, it will only apply the gain reduction when the signal exceeds the threshold, right? So it will always be late. So the signal dah lepas dia punya threshold, band only starts to compress. Okay, not in the case of vocal rider. Vocal rider does a look ahead. It looks ahead at the signal. This is as if Solar, you have somebody at the fader, but very fast, be able to pull up and down and adjust the levels. So this is what I'm doing. So I've set this to set a target level, a range, right, about 5 dB range, and you see what the vocal rider, the rider fader does lah. Okay, this is what it does.
Hidup tak semanis
So it will write the vocal according to the level. So ada part bila kuat, they will write it down a little bit, and not much, usually 1 or 2 dB. Yeah, so that's what it does. Okay, all right, super simple. Let's check what else is going on in here. Why so many messages coming into my phone? Okay, sorry, I was just checking and make sure. All right. Okay, sir, if wrong vocal ini di tengah-tengah atau di hadapan. Maksudnya apa? Di tengah-tengah atau di hadapan? Di tengah-tengah maksudnya di tengah-tengah, in the middle, you sitting in with the mix, or whether up front, is it? It depends actually. It really depends. All right. It depends on what the style is. To be honest, if you're going for a really rock element, the vocal should kind of sit together. If you want to make it feel macam band lah, the vocal should sit together with the music lah, not too upfront. It's of course different when you're talking about a pop mix. Memang the vocal is meant to be upfront lah, right? So benda-benda ni you have to in consideration. But there's no right, no wrong, man. You can always do a rock mix with having the vocals front if you want. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. What else do I want to show you guys? There's an API 516 here. This just adds a slight bit of color. I'll show you again later why, but actually there's nothing. This is just on. I usually have this sometimes if I want to do a general tone control after I apply all this lah. Okay, so that's basically that's it. Okay, so let's go on to the effects. So what are we gonna do, right? So what effects do I have? Now let's start. I'm gonna start with this one, Super Tap. So Super Tap here. Let me look back at my presets. Okay, right. Not presets lah, mix notes lah. So my mix notes ni is the old-fashioned way, man. Just using a buku 35, 555 punya notebook and write it down. This is the old-fashioned way. So what Super Tap is doing, okay, let me just show you. So I'm trying to, because we recorded this inside the studio, I want to sit the vocal as if it is inside a much larger room. I want to give it a sense of being inside a room. So Super Tap is actually a delay, but it's very useful. You can actually set it so that it can be a room emulation. So let me show you what I'm actually doing with this. I have set this to a very fast delay, right? 2 taps and 0 feedback. We don't want feedback. We don't want it to be like multiple repeated punya delays lah, and then delay echoes lah. We don't want that. We just want it to sound like the vocals inside a nice, expensive sounding studio live room. So you just get one single reflection back. That's it. Now the important thing is, yang penting tu is that you have, the important thing over here is actually this EQ section. So what I do here is I actually have a low pass filter, right? So low pass filter, that means I cut all the highs at 1.5K onwards. So, right, this is going to sound fairly dark lah, right? So it's a fairly dark sounding room. So everything above 1.5K, right, the frequency akan di roll off. So this is how it sounds like, okay? I'm going to exaggerate it so you hear. You can hear a little bit of 3D-ness. Okay, but I just exaggerate a little bit first. You can hear? So that's actually the sound of the supposedly the room punya sound lah. So I'm using this to sort of just to give it a little bit of the, to place it, right, so that it sounds like it's inside a room lah. Okay, cool. Next thing I have is doubler. Okay, so doubler in this case, this is, as the name implies, I'm using it as a sort of a mild kind of a chorusing effect lah. Okay, so how much did I put? So I put at least, oh, what did I do? Okay, so I put here at about minus 12 dB. Again, I'll exaggerate all of this so you can hear how it sounds like lah. Okay, but in real life, in the mix, actually, I set it to about minus 12. But let's bring it up. See how it sounds like. Why no sound? I know why. Okay, because the solo, right, wasn't it. Now you hear it. Now you will hear how it sounds like. Here we go. Yeah, you hear that? Sorry, dia mungkin a bit loud here, but just to let you hear what do I mean, or what's the effect that I'm adding there. So this is actually basically a chorus. A doubler is basically, you know, adding a chorus effect. You can also use the same thing. You pakai a chorus effect pun boleh. You know, any kind of a stock punya plugin also can lah. Will do the same thing lah. Okay. So this is just to give it a little bit of the extra width, a little bit of extra energy. That's what doubler does. Okay. All right. But very, very simple. Super straightforward. Next thing, a mono delay. So these are all the effects that I pakai on the vocal. Okay, so what I have on here, this is an 8th note delay, right? Super simple. Feedback is also very low. And how much? About 25. Okay, minus 25. Let's check out how this sounds. So this is a mono delay. So mono delay meaning that it's going to be, the delay tail is going to be straight and behind. This is to give the vocal the sense of front to back. All right, it's just give a little bit of the front to back. Especially when the vocals stop at the end of the words, you can hear it. Short delay. Yeah, okay. You can hear that, right? It's just to give it a little bit of the tail, to give it a bit of size to it lah. Okay, so now mixing is all about dynamics. Song arrangement is about dynamics, right? Some other things we do, right? In playing style is about dynamics. Because without dynamics, the song is going to be very boring. The mix is going to be very static. Dia akan straight, dia akan flat saja, right? And that is not exciting. So in the mix also, we also try to create dynamics to maintain the interest of the listener, so that the listener is going to be, you know, going to be pulled along to this, on this journey lah. Okay, so what am I going to do here? Okay, let's quickly do this. Okay, why is the thing being soloed? Let me get out of the solo. Okay, right, that's right. Let me just mute all the instruments. Let's go to the vocal. I'm going to show you what I will do. So to add some dynamics, right, it's a very easy thing. So in the verses, in the verses we have these effects. We have the mono delay, which is towards the center. When I go into the chorus, I'm going to kick in with a stereo delay instead. So is it already done? Yeah, it is already done. Okay, so even during time recording the time already, I letak this effect there already. So what happens is that when the masuk chorus, right, from a mono delay, suddenly in the chorus you get a stereo delay, left, right. Tiba-tiba the vocal is more exciting. It's bigger, it's wider, you know. So it makes the chorus more exciting lah. All right, that's what I mean by dynamics. Okay, let me just show you. See what's happening here. Okay, you can see the automation curve. Bila chorus masuk, stereo delay. All right, so this is the same stereo delay that I'm using. Brainworks. Okay, all right. So apa yang beza is the mono delay. Just now you can see it's using 8th notes. but with the stereo delay is quarter notes. So you want a slower delay time lah, right? A longer delay time because you want it to be bigger, you want it to be wider. If you use back the same 8 notes, right, as same as the mono delay, it's going to sound mono because it's the same delay though. So you need to use a different I will usually use a longer delay time lah. So just hear how it sounds, okay? Going into the chorus.
Menghapus gelapmu, my flower, janganlah kau
If you really hear clearly, you hear the delay is going to the sides now.
dalam senja yang sunyi denganku saat ini, percaya padaku.
Yeah, okay. You hear that, right? So when bila chorus masuk, it goes into a stereo delay. Everything becomes wider, everything becomes bigger. All right. So this is one of the tricks that you can use in the mix, okay, to create dynamics and to create interest. Right. Another thing, and this is more of a recording and arrangement production decision. What we did is dekat chorus tu, we actually double track, actually triple lah. This is actually a triple track here. So kita actually triple track the vocal. So you have the lead vocal here, and then you have another 2 tracks of of the vocal, which is doubled on top, recorded on top separately, and then one pan left, one pan right. So this is pan about 50-50. I'm not going for super hard left-right pan in this case. What this is running through is same. I have this similar parallel compression process that I have, and EQ wise, nothing much. This is about 118 hertz high pass filter at about 120. And that's it, man. Super simple. Okay, let me just refer to where I have the doubles at about -12. So let me just check and see. Let's link. So now I will listen in context. Let's open up the drums, the main rhythm, the acoustic guitars, the bass, and let's listen, okay? Here we go.
Pasti ada terang menghapus gelapmu.
Let's listen to the doubles.
My flower,
A bit more.
janganlah kau layu, mekarlah di dalam senja yang sunyi denganku saat ini, percaya padaku.
So you can hear from the verses going to the chorus, the vocal suddenly gets bigger, gets more exciting, because of not only do you have the main lead vocal, you also have a double and a triple track down there as well. Very, very common punya production, right? Secret and technique lah of adding size and adding excitement to the chorus. Now we actually experimented. We played around a little bit, and what I did here, actually down here, you can see. This is a duplicate track. This is actually the same thing, but duplicated. We played around though. So this one is the same doubles, but what I have done is I have ran this through little alter boy. So alter boy here, this is a pitch shifter, a formant shifter plugin. I'll show you what this does. This is how it sounds, okay? Right. It's going to sound a little bit funny. It's going to sound a little bit like a robot. Cool, right? Interesting, right? So, little alter boy is from Sound Toys. So, yang ni this double track, pitch shift down 1 octave, and played around with the formant to find the right kind of a tone lah, right? So this is the formant. Right, formant. What is formant? Okay, you might be asking. Some of you, especially fans, might be tengah tanya ni. What apa tu formant? Formant is the characteristic of the vocal punya your oral cavity, your nose, your mouth, your throat, your esophagus semua tu, yang hasilkan the different vowel sounds, the A, E, I, O, U. right? And also things like the tone lah. So I'll play around. I'll show you what I mean. If I normal formant, right, it'd be like this, normal. Okay, normal pitch lah. Let's just go with no pitch shift first, eh? So this is normal lah, Hadi punya vocal. So when I play with the formant, sound a bit more. Sound macam cartoon pula, right? Right? Or you can make it sound like a very deep sounding big guy. This way, if I play the formant down. Okay, this one now sounds a little bit like macam tua. It makes it sound older. So you can change the characteristic of the voice in this way. So what we did, right? We pitch shift 1 octave and I set it to about 8.8 lah. So we get this. Where is it? 8.8. There you go. So it sounds like this. Okay. Okay, so now when you solo, of course, it's going to sound weird lah. But the thing is, this is going to be just blended in below. So just blend a little bit only. Chorus.
My flower, janganlah kau layu mekar di dalam senja yang sunyi.
When I solo, then it's a bit more clearer. It adds a bit of weight, but we don't want it to. I don't want it to sound like tiba-tiba ada robot punya voice below tu. It's just going to very, very subtly add a bit of weight down. So again, all right, there are many ways of doing this. In this case, what I did was just duplicated the track and then applied the pitch shifter and a bit of formant shifting. You can also, if you want to be, kalau you rajin, if you guys are hardworking, you can always record, right, another track with a 1 octave lower and sing it that way. But this is an easy way of doing it lah, okay? So, tune, very, very tune, okay? Let's move on. Now, very quickly, because since we are dealing with vocals, let's touch on this first very quickly lah. Lagu ni, there's hardly any backing vocals. There's only this harmony line, one harmony line here, okay? Simple lah, right? It doesn't need to have too much stuff. What's happening here, again, super simple. High pass filter at 100. Same, now with vocals, I always run it through this parallel because I love the sound of doing this. Okay, and this is all going to this BV group. What's happening in the BV group? Nothing actually. Nothing much. Right, so this thing only comes in here. So let's play it and just blend it in.
Meski harus tetap dikurangi bersamamu.
That's it, right?
Aku kan di sini.
Yeah, that's it, man. Nothing much going on. So, that's the vocals. Now, fun time. Let's move on to electric guitars. Okay, right. So, let's talk a little bit of what... so, most of these electric guitars was recorded by Harry. Harry he's an awesome guitarist, man. Harry is actually the one of the new members, right? He's a new member. He's just joined the band, right, for in this album. And the funny thing again, sebelum Harry was in Six Sense ni, I pernah, right, bekerja dengan Harry dulu with another band that he used to be. That band was alamak, I lupa dah nama band tu. Oh my goodness, right? But that was Faizal of AF. This is what happens lah when you are above the tua lah, above 40 years old. Your memory and your hard drive space runs out, and you forget the name of the band. But you know, I work with Harry lah sebelum ni lah. Okay, right? So, what did we use for this? We use, right, very simple in terms of what we recorded. Kita just pakai Harry's XFX, which is the AX8, the floor unit version. So let's check out what's happening with the guitars, right? Yeah. Super simple. Okay, high pass filter at 150, just a little bit of a notch at about 2.3K, just a little bit, just to notch out a little bit of the single coil kind of a sound there, right? Single coils always sometimes have that little bit of ringiness there, lah. And what's happening with this? Super. Yeah, right? So this happens during the chorus, we're using this tone. And then going into this second verse, there is another track, right? This one is a higher guitar. Okay, so this one I haven't touched anything with it yet. So what I am going to do is, okay, this one is, I know what this is going to need. This is going to need MV2. This is going to need MV2 because this is like a semi-plucked kind of a line. Right, let's check it out, all right? Da, 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 and... So you can hear the patch already has got the effects and the reverb in it. With guitars, right? Especially with guitar parts, I always record with the effects on because itu dah memang the tone, that is memang the sound that we are going for. So let's just commit to it, right? So okay, MV2 just to sort of bring out a little bit of all the notes. So right, so this comes in just before the chorus. So this is interesting because this is again boils down towards arrangement, right? So first verse, the guitar is only playing the regular normal octave part. But bila masuk second verse, just to give it a bit more energy, a bit more difference, a bit more dynamics, the one more part, the high part comes in with octave higher. Alright, cool. Let me check out, because I don't remember what is all this stuff. This little fill is... okay, down, down. Yeah, it's got a little kind of a bluesy country twang there going on. So there we go. Yeah, down, down. Very nice. Okay. Okay, so you will probably notice here that we actually have some DI tracks. Okay, but this is not being used at all. So these DI tracks, when bila kita record, I will always record with at least a DI track. I used to have a radial DI. So whether I pakai amp or whether I using in this case the X effects, right? I'll always have a separate DI track because this gives me a flexibility. And some of the other songs I use, it gives you the flexibility of reamping or putting it through a VST amp simulator ataupun or something else like that lah. But in this case, I think in 80% of the cases, it was never used, right? But again, this is just an in case lah. It is insurance just in case. It's better to have it than not have it at all, okay? Maybe another benefit to having this DI track is actually when it comes to editing. If you are dealing with very distorted tracks, let's say overdrive or distortion with your tones, you see, it's very hard to see where the note is striking and hitting down. Not so with the DI track. With the DI, you can see it's very clear. You can hear exactly where the note starts. So the DI track, excuse me, right? The DI track helps as a reference guide lah. So Let me just disable all the DR tracks sebab kita tak pakai. Right, disable. Let me just hide it first. And coming out of the solo, we'll jump back to the solo later. We are coming back into, this is dirt guitar. So let's check out what it is. Yeah, so going into a more distorted, slightly more overdriven sound. Again, building up this, dynamics, right? This is, again, song arrangement 101. This is nothing to do with mixing. This is song arrangement, right? Having the switching the guitar tone from a lighter, more cleanish kind of a sound, then going to a dirty sound for this and the rest of the until the end of the song. It gives excitement to the track, man. Right? Without having, there's no special trick here. It's just using the right sound for the right situation. Okay, so solo, and then goes to the last chorus. Bridge first.
Meski harus tertatiku namun bersamamu, aku kan di sini. Lihatlah di balik luka itu ada senyum, hiasi mentari.
Right, okay, same thing. There's another high part that comes here. Check it out. I might want to just high pass a bit. Okay, right. I thought this was a very cool thing because this last note actually what we did was we actually did a little whammy bar. Let me just solo it for you lah, right? Things for guitarists to geek out on lah. Right, so we actually pull down on the whammy bar. So I thought that was cool. Okay, so just some little things for guitarists to geek out on. Okay, what's next? There's nothing much left, man. Okay, so we're going to the solo. So let's go into the solo. Same thing, right? You can see these are all being bussed into a group. So let's check out what did we do with the solo. Okay, let's solo the solo. Again, this is a high pass filter. All right, I will probably add a little bit of effects later on. Okay, so what did I do? What I love to put with the solo tracks. Okay, I'll show you. MV2. Okay, MV2 is what I like to do. Okay, right. That rhymes. MV2. Okay, here we go. So MV2 again. One of, I have to say, definitely, a game changer lah, right? Pardon the cliche, okay? It's a game-changing plugin. So it really helps to add density. It really helps to bring out all the detail when it comes to things such as plucked instruments, guitar solos, and stuff like that. It's so versatile, man. So this is just to make sure some of the softer notes don't get buried. Alright, cool. Okay, let me show you what I have on the solo. What I love to put is, this is called a Multiply from Acon Digital. This is, if I'm not mistaken, this is actually a free plugin also. Again, you can check it out. I've put the links to a lot of those plugins down in the description. You better check it out lah. So this is it's a kind of a chorus effect. So this is just to add in a little bit. See? Well, I don't want too much of it lah, okay? Sounds a bit 80s, you know? Just to make the guitar solos not a little bit wider, a little bit bigger, right? Instead of being straight up in the middle, just to help it, take up a little bit more space. Now, what I like to do as well, let's add in a bit of a tape delay. Let's go for UAD Ep.34 tape echo. This is a emulation of the Echoplex. Alright, let's sync. Let's go with 8 notes. Where is 8 notes? There you go. Solo it. Okay, let's bring up the treble. Let's take out the bottom end. Yeah, I don't need all the low end from it. I think let's go for quarter note triplets lah. Yeah, that's better. Just slightly less repeats. Yeah, just to give it a bit of space. Yeah, okay. I love it. This is the emulation of an Echoplex lah, okay? So now I have something on the DI track, I think. And yes, definitely. Let's check out what did I have in here. I have over here the over loud THU. So yeah, these are maybe some of the occasions where I will use the DI lah. So that's again, if I didn't have the DI, I'm kind of stuck dengan the one particular sound. Can't do much. But at least with the DI track here, there's an option, you see. So, okay, this is going to take a while. And there you go. So what do I have here? This is running through a... Let me make the screen a little bit bigger. Okay, this is actually running through a preset here, which is the Soldano, right? So it's running through a Soldano head with a bit of digital delay and a bit of room reverb. Okay, don't talk so much. Let's solo and hear how it sounds. So this is a more traditional lead guitar sound, I would say. Take out a bit of a bottom end. Let's engage a bit of the tube screamer. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, maybe a bit too much. A bit brighter. Okay, again. Right. I'm making these kind of decisions in isolation. Makes no sense at all, okay? Listen in context. Alright. Let's listen. Yeah, I got to automate it down a little bit. Okay, just automating the last line, right? The last little bit, so that they akan duck out when the lead vocal come back in lah. Okay, right? Super simple things. We are almost there, man. Right? Again, you know, with these guys, what they have done, the way that they are playing, the recording, how well the guys played. All right. Makes the mix job so easy, man. Alright, excellent. Now, last but not least, that's the band. So we are almost there, man. Very cool. And I can't believe it. It's only 11. So it's only like 1.5 hours. That's again that shows you how easy it is to deal with when the band is tight. When the band is tight, when the band is awesome, when the arrangement, when delivery, everything is awesome. It makes the job so easy lah. Okay. Okay, so what's happening here with this harmonica? Okay, you might be wondering. So I don't know, Wan dengan Ayo, you guys are there, right? What's the name of the harmonica player yang we got? man, I can't the I can't remember, man. Okay. Yeah, middle mix. Okay, sorry guys, you got a lot of chat that's going on in there. I memang tak boleh when I am doing the live stream the time. I won't be able to keep track lah, but I will go through. Kalau if you have any questions, I will go through it and I'll try to answer them, okay? As we're going along. So, last but not least, harmonica in Six Sense punya song. Something special, right? Right, like I said, right? So, guys, in this album, there are a lot of special stuff, lah, right? So, this is just only one song to give you a little bit of sneak peek behind the scenes punya look into what's coming up in Six Sense punya album, lah, right? They have 8 songs. They have some other special tracks as well. So stand by, man, when the tracks when the album is out, okay? So what's happening with this harmonica? This harmonica also we recorded here in the studio, all right? And let me just show you what we did. This is, again, super simple, right? Nothing much going on. Let me just solo this, okay? High pass filter, 460 hertz. Now, I have put, instead of this reverb, I use this little plate, again, from Sound Toys, right? High pass, like cut a bit of the lows out. Let's just solo this and see. Yeah, it gives you a very Western cowboy kind of a feel, isn't it? That's kind of the riff, right? Well, we actually took the same riff as you can see here, right? The harmonica riff, and we actually just copy and paste. Oh, let me zoom out. This is not a distortion, okay? Right? And that's it. There's just a high pass at 450 hertz, a little bit of reverb, no compression at all. Okay, I think again when we recorded, I recorded with the compression. So again with the 1176. Going to about a 4:1 ratio or something like that. So this is definitely, I think it was already compressed the way it was recorded this way it is. So in the mix, I don't need to do anything, man. So here we go. Let's just listen to this with it. So, second interlude, the same harmonica again. Let me just skip to the solo, just check out, okay? So the harmonica just comes in under the solo. Yeah, just underneath. Okay, right. Okay, so before I jump, just to check this little part at the back, if you notice just now, I brought up the snare by about 1 dB, right? Again, set and don't forget. Don't forget what you did earlier. You can always, mixing is not a linear process. It's always jumping around here and there, back and forth. Sometimes in the middle of tweaking vocals, I will jump back and tweak something with the bass if I pick something out over there. So why I did this, I just felt I'd break the snare up a little bit, because in this track, okay, right, the drums are a little bit slightly less aggressive as the other songs. So giving you a hint lah, right? Some of other 6 songs, the energy level is actually way more than this. Okay, so give you a little sneak peek. So that's why I felt, just need to bump up this snare a little bit more, just 1 dB. That's all. So you can see the harmonica is automated here. So whenever there's a main fill, right, this is at this level. Then when it's supposed to make a more of a background roll, it goes here, right, and then here as well. Okay, this feels like it needs to be up by a dB. Alright, okay, cool. Yeah, this is a Dwi Bahasa. It's got English and also got the BM punya lyrics. And then this ending. Okay, I may automate this a little bit. Maybe just pump it a little 1 dB louder lah, and see. Okay, all right. But again, man, nothing much that's done with the harmonica. No compression, just high pass filter and reverb only. Super simple. Now, one last thing. I guess this is almost there. We're almost done. So dekat stage ni, right, mixing stage ni, the whole mixing process usually actually takes a few hours lah. So apa yang I tunjuk malam ni during this live stream right now is the kind of the initial, I will call this the first draft punya mix. So ni lebih kurang I would say is about 80%, 80% of the way there lah, 80% of what the final product is going to be. Because, right, I show you all the broad strokes. Later all the fine tuning punya automation nanti kan, I don't show it, I tak tunjuk during live stream, because kalau if I do that, okay, kita akan sampai sini sampai 5-6 pagi lah. We'll be here all the way lah. There was one episode I pernah buat early on. There was this project that live stream took me 5 hours. Okay, so that one memang epic punya live stream lah. So tonight we keep it short and simple and short and sweet lah, because again, nothing much needs to be done, man. The tracks already sound so awesome. The performance by the band is really so good. One last thing I want to show you very quickly, okay, would be, alright, maybe just very quickly show you what I have on the Masterbuss. So this is an AUC's Air EQ, just to give a bit of just 1 dB, right, of air up here. And this low cut, why did I have this low cut here? Oh yes, okay, I think I had this here because we didn't want too much bottom and building up, okay, for that. Wave C4, this is the multi-band compressor. This is not doing much. Okay, let's play it on a chorus just to show what this is doing. This is just to control, make sure no particular frequency range jumps out too much lah. In fact, in this case, in this situation, it's not even doing anything at all. So, okay, so that's fine, right? We'll just leave it there. So this TDR Nova, again, is there, but it's bypassed. The VBC rack is bypassed. Virtual mix rack is here. But I actually, right, because we wanted to go for a slightly different, a little bit more raw sound, so to speak. So usually, typically, for my Masterbuss compression, I usually use the VBC rack, right? So the VBC rack here, I've set it up in such a way that I actually have got 3 compressors in series, right? FG Grey, which is the SSL, Red, which is Focusrite, and FG Mu, which is Fairchild. So normally, again, if you are a regular on the channel, you know that I use this, and each one I have a little bit of a subtle different setting for each compressor. But in this case, for 6 cents, we want to go a little bit more, again, more raw. Again, more towards a raw thing. So instead of using 3 separate compressors, we use one. Okay, I only decided to use one. So this one that I decided to use, right? I decided to choose the BX Townhouse Bus compressor. So this compressor, right? Is and it's actually an SSL. It's actually an SSL bus compressor that's been modded, that was used in the Townhouse studios in the UK, right? So that's why it's called the Townhouse Bus Compressor lah. So it's just a modified SSL, right? So it's a SSL flavor, right? Just it's modified with its own characteristics. It's quite a colorful bus compressor compared to maybe the VBC, right? So let's just kind of hear what it's doing, okay? Right. Let's play chorus.
My sunshine, I want you, but
Not much.
maybe tomorrow
Okay, let's bypass.
will better than this bitter yang kau rasa saat ini.
Okay, again, very subtle. This is like 2 dB of gain reduction on it. For me, it has adding a little bit of mix the bottom end just a little bit more tighter, a little bit more, tighter, a little more solid. Makes the bottom and the low mids a little bit bigger, right, compared to without it. And trust me, I went through a lot of picking through several compressors, because with VBC, it wasn't, with my usual VBC, it wasn't giving the right vibe to it. Again, the band wanted to go for a more raw, very, very much more indie kind of a sound, instead of something that's too polished or too highly produced. So I really went through a lot of Masterbuss compressors before arriving at this lah. I seldom use this. I don't particularly like this this compressor on my other mix projects, but somehow when it came to 6 Sense for their sound, the particular sound that they were going for, this one worked lah. So again, right, it's useful to have all these in different tools and different palettes in your toolbox to use lah. Okay, what else is going on in here? Okay, and that's it, right? No SPL iron, no nothing. The one last thing I do have is virtual tape machine, the very last insert, right? This is again as if I'm mixing down and printing onto a 2 into is it a 2-inch? Yeah. No, half-inch 2-track, okay? 30 IPS FG9, right? So this is basically what it's doing. Last but not least, so okay, gonna wrap this up real soon. Okay, thank you so much for sticking around. One last trick that we'll do for, again, building dynamics, and I'm going to show this to you. Some of you may already know, but this is a very easy trick and tip to build dynamics inside a mix lah. And that is just to simply automate the master, automate the stereo bus. This is what I mean. So what's going to happen is that whenever the song goes into the chorus, I will automate the stereo fader, the master fader up just 1 dB. Okay, that's it. This is a very, very simple trick. It's a psychoacoustic punya trick to trick the ear to feel that, that the chorus suddenly feels a little bit more exciting. Padahal the only thing that's happening is just pump up the fader, right? This is a very common trick lah, right? Using psychoacoustics to fool the listener, okay? So this is what it's gonna do. So I'm gonna play this, right, and set the track fader to write the automation. Here we go. Okay, ready? 1 bar. 2. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is roughly, okay? So this is 2 bars actually lah, okay, because this is double timed at 175, okay? Because the metronome clear is double time. So you can see this is just bumping up the stereo, the master, 1 dB. Simple trick. 2, 3. So for me, 1 dB is kind of the sweet spot. Some people do 1.5, but to me, 1.5 is obvious, like, somebody turn up the volume. 1 dB is subtle enough so that it doesn't sound like, somebody made a volume change lah. So what's going to happen is this is going to come out from the chorus, okay?
Percaya padaku.
3, 4. So coming out of the chorus, we bring it back down, okay? All right. So this one will be shorter. This one will only be like a half bar, okay? So ramp it down lah, okay? 0. And guess what? Okay, let me just copy this over. Same thing. When we go to last chorus, same thing lah, right? Okay, at bar 1, 1, 2. So we've copied the automation curve, paste. Voila, there you go. And then obviously because this last chorus is going to go all the way to the end lah. And that's it, okay? That's pretty much it, you know, what I've got to share and apa yang I nak kongsikan malam ni during this live stream of MixStream lah. So, how many of you are still there, man? Some of the hardcore fans are still there. Daria is there. Ritz, hey, sorry, okay, I saw your answer there. Kawada is still there. And I saw Easy. Hey, Easy, man. Alright. Easy made a comment. Altar Boy is one of my ultimate favorites from Transforming Vocals, man. Good to hear you use it. Oh yeah, Altar Boy, man. It's really, really cool. Sound Toys plugins, man. You know, awesome, right? I don't own the whole bundle. I've been a few times that I've wanted to go, but then always the sale comes, right? When the Sound Toys package, the bundle comes in, I always get torn up whether should I get the bundle or should I get the effects rack, because the effects rack also has the, okay, I'm sorry lah for those yang tak tahu apa we're talking about. Easy knows what I'm talking about lah. The effects rack is cheaper, but you have to kind of use the plugins inside the effects rack, the inside the shell of the effects rack, whereas the Sound Toys bundle is more expensive, but you can use it as separate plugins lah. So I'm always thinking, deciding which one to get, and then by the time I decided, the sale over already. So it's like that has happened to me like 2 or 3 times, right, over the past year lah. So okay, so that's it. Yeah. So what I've shown you malam ni, right, is just the overall broad strokes. Lepas ni ada benda-benda akan fine tune lagi lah. And then usually after the first draft of the mix is done, I will present this to the band, and then kita will always have a listening session. I let the band akan dengar, then the band will get back to me with feedback, with comments. Okay, JD, okay, boleh adjust ni, boleh tukar ni, adjust ni, this and that. This is memang part of the process lah. So back and forth, okay, kita akan bincang, okay, make some tweaks, make the tweaks and adjustment until the guys are happy lah. So hopefully, right, the guys are going to be happy with this mix. This is the last song on the album, okay. Actually, there's one more other track, but that's another story lah. This is the last song. The album is almost done. I'm very excited for them, right? For Six Sense to be akan release their album. So we're going to, for one last round, we're just going to listen to the whole track, and right, just to double check overall lah, right, to see how it feels. This is 80% pretty much there. So hopefully you guys dah dapat sedikit sebanyak an insight to just one process, one part of the process of the production of a song, right? Like I mentioned, the tulisan lagu, the lyrics, the pre-production, the recording. This is just only the mixing stage. The mastering stage lagi tu cerita lain lah. So right, so thank you so much everyone for watching. Again, if you are not subscribed to my channel, sila kalau boleh, right, sangat-sangat dialurkan untuk subscribe kepada channel saya. Kalau, right, if you feel that you benefited, if you enjoyed this, sila like, sila share, okay, right. And one more thing, right, anybody who wants to sort of support the channel secara financially, you can actually do so, right, by going to my Patreon page, right. You can see up there, right, it says they become a patron. So the details are all down in the description below lah. Whether you're watching this now or maybe you're watching the replay later, if you want to support the channel, right, and become a patron, please do so. I really, really appreciate it. Now the great thing is that if you sign up to become a patron, if you're watching this and you sign up to become a patron, 50% of the revenue, okay, that's going to come in, is going to be shared with the artist, with the featured artist. That means with 6 cents, okay? So contohnya, if you sign up, right, for the patron, or not only patron, I also have a buy me a coffee. Again, details are down in the description below lah. Boleh tengok. 50% of the income or the revenue that's generated from this live stream is going to go towards the band, okay? So this is one way that you boleh tunjuk support kepada, right, 6 cents and the band-band yang kegemaran anda lah. So let's listen to the first draft of the mix of Flowers by 6 cents. Thank you so much for watching, okay? Everyone, you guys there, stay safe, right? And happy recording and mixing, right? Peace, love, music. Check it out. Can I add a shaker?
Hidup tak semanis yang kita mau. Kadang ada mendung menutup pelangi. Hidup tak seperti yang kita tahu. Pasti ada terang menghapus gelapmu. My flower, janganlah kau layu, mekarlah di dalam senja yang sunyi denganku saat ini. Percaya padaku. Meski harus tertatiku, namun bersamamu aku kan di sini. Lihatlah di balik luka itu ada senyum hiasi mentari. My sunshine, I want you believe me, tomorrow will better than this bitter yang kau rasa saat ini.
Maybe the right cymbal needs to be louder, okay? Benda ni later I will tweak a little bit more lah, okay? So thank you so much everyone for watching, okay? Stay tuned, follow 6 Cents punya social media and their updates for when the album is coming out. Thank you so much for watching. You will have been an awesome audience, right? Thank you so much for the support. Again, leave a like, share and subscribe to the channel. See you again real soon, okay? Stay safe, stay happy. Happy recording and mixing. Good night, folks. Bye. Stay safe, stay happy. Happy recording and mixing. Good night, folks. Bye.